Hey everyone, imagine walking into a forest where the trees look like they're doing yoga. They are all bent lower near the ground, curving like a giant question marks, then shooting straight up to the sky. Is quite a little spooky. That's the crocodile forest in Land of Fields, Poland. The first time I saw pictures of it online, I was up at 2 am just staring, thinking, aliens, magic, my subscriber count, or did the trees just decide to mess with me? I had to find out everything. So today we are going on a little mystery hunt together. Stick around, it gets wild, a bit funny, and honestly kind of airy. Let's go. This place is called Krzywy Las, very hard to pronounce, which just means concrete forest in Polish. It's near a small town called Gryfino in northwest Poland, pretty close to the German border. The whole area is a normal pine forest full of straight trees, but there is one small patch where everything changes. There are about 80 really dramatically bent Scotch pine trees in the protected area. Some old stories says up to 400 in the wilder spot, but the main concrete ones are around 80. These pines were planted back in the 1930s, so they are roughly 90 years old now. What makes them so weird is how they bend. Each one curves sharply northward, starting really low, just 10 to 15 centimeters off the ground, that stretches out onto 3 meters sideways. Then the trunk suddenly goes straight up, reaching about 15 meters tall. The bark is that classic rough, reddish-brown pine look, and they are planted in neat rows, almost like someone once set up a tiny experiment. Right next to them are hundreds of perfectly straight pines. The difference is so sharp it stops you in your tracks. 100%. Why only this one little area? That's the question that keeps pulling people back. Back in the 1930s, this land belonged to the Germany. It was part of Bremen area. People were just living normal lives. Farmers, forest workers, planting trees like it was any other day. Then World War II hit in 1939. The fighting was heavy here. The nearby town of Gryfino got badly damaged. People fell or worse, and almost all the records from that time disappeared. Those trees were still young, only about 7 to 10 years old, when something bent them. After the war, no one came back to explain it. The story just stopped. Imagine being a kid in 1938, helping your family plant trees, maybe even bending a few for some reason. Then tanks roll though, bombs fall, and everything gets abandoned forever. It's kind of sad and definitely a little haunting. So what really happened? People have come up with all kinds of ideas. One simple explanation is heavy snow. Winters in Poland can be brutal. Maybe a big snowfall buried the young, soft saplings, forcing them to grow sideways to reach sunlight. Then they corrected upward when the snow melted. It makes sense on paper, but why only these trees? Why the exact same direction and such a perfect uniform curve? It doesn't quite fit. Another natural idea is weird, soil or gravity pulling them over, but gravity pulls straight down, not sideways in a neat J shape, and experts say the ground here is not unusual enough to cause something disorganized. Then there are the fun, wild theories that make great late night talk. Some people swear it was aliens, UFOs landed, flattened the saplings, or used some kind of beam for tree experiments, or maybe they left the bands as landing marks. No real proof, but old stories about a strange light in the sky around here make it fun to picture. Although others talk about secret experiments during the war. Maybe Nazi projects, magnetic fields gone wrong, or just tanks driving over the young trees and smashing them into that shape. The bends are so clean and even, also smooth. Though tanks are messy, so that one feels like a stretch. And of course, the internet lovers, the haunted version, forest spirits, curses, a portal to another world. TikTok is full of cursed forest videos about this place. Those stories give you chills around a campfire, but they're no solid evidence. The explanation that fits best, and what most people who study it agree on, is that human did it on purpose. When the trees were still young and flexible, someone tied them down with ropes, used tricks, or built simple wooden frames to slowly bend them.
Why?
Like why? Curved wood is incredibly strong because the grain follows the bend naturally. That makes it perfect for boat ribs, furniture frames, barrels, sleigh runners, even craft wheels. Farmers or forest workers probably planned to harvest the wood years later. When the trees were mature, then the war came, everything stopped, people left or didn't return, and the trees just kept growing in that bent shape. We don't have old photos or diaries that show exactly how they did it. So, a tiny piece of puzzle is still missing. But people have tried the same bending technique in other places since then, just to test it or for curiosity, and it works. Today, the Crockett Forest is a protected natural monument. Tourists, photographers, and anyone who loves a good mystery come from all over. There are easy paths and a few benches so you can walk right through it. It looks especially beautiful in the morning fog when the curves appear and disappear in the mist, or at golden hour when the low sun lights up. There are other places with strangely shaped trees like carefully tanned pines in Japan for art, or the spooky Huyabachu forest in Romania. So the big mystery is mostly solved. Human hands shaped them for useful strong curved wood, but that small unsolved part, the exact tools, the exact person who planned it, keeps a little magic alive. Nature and people working together created something strange, beautiful, and unforgettable. What do you think really happened? Heavy snow, a smart farmer with a plan, aliens having a laugh, or something we haven't even thought of? Drop your best theory in the comments, I read them all, and the wildest one that still makes sense might get a shout out in the next video. If you ever find yourself in Poland, make the trip, walk slowly among those bent trees, feel how quiet it is. It makes you realize that choices made a long time ago can still leave something behind that surprises us and makes us wonder. Thanks so much for coming on this adventure with me. If it gave you that little shiver of curiosity, hit like, share your theory below, and subscribe if you want more hidden spot like that. I will see you in the next mystery place. Alvida. Good night. Oh.